Welcome to the Price of Business. I'm your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. Steele C. Smith, he's on our program, and we're going to be talking about C3 International Inc., and they're a company that's dramatically changing the way, really changing the whole pharmaceutical industry as it pertains to cannabis. And, and it's so weird just to think a few years ago how rare this kind of conversation would be, and now how standard it has become. And I, for one, I'm very leery about the abuse of marijuana, but I've long believed that it certainly has medical benefits, and there's proof of that in so many areas, ranging from muscle-related, neuromuscular, seizures. I mean, there's so many different areas, and we're discovering more and more as we remove the taboo around it. So it's pretty heady times, I would assume, for someone like you.
Absolutely. It's exciting times, Kevin.
Talk a little bit about your background real quickly, and then C3 International.
Well, I'm a California native that was diagnosed with a rare disease in 2000, rare form of Crohn's, and was put on opioids. And in the addiction of opioids and trying the detox of opioids, I found medical cannabis after the Compassionate Act use of 1996, and I started an early collective in California, and here we are.
That's fantastic. And so you're getting the same therapeutic benefits through cannabis without any of the heavy luggage that otherwise comes with opioids.
Correct. Idrasil is a non-smoking form. It's prescription only. It is dosable and titratable and sigable on any doctor's prescription pad.
Yeah. So it is out of that experience that this company began.
It was really through my own experience of being diagnosed
right.
with an ailment for which I needed medical cannabis, and the only source of cannabis was some dispensary or collective, and I had to deal with a bag of weed or a brownie or a vape cartridge, and to me that just wasn't medicine. I'm a physician's son. I've been raised with the business of medicine. I went to law school myself, so I understand the business of pharmaceutical marketing and packaging, and we created a product. So
talk about that product.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, talk about the product. Talk about what makes it unique out there compared to others in the industry.
Right. Thank you for that. It's a whole cannabis product that's derived primarily from cannabis indica. Completely from cannabis indica, and it's whole, it's active. So all the constituent components of cannabis indica are in Idrasil. It is active. It does have the potential to get a person high, but when dosed at a body weight over milligrams over time, a efficacious dose of active cannabinoids can be safely titrated in cannabinoid-naive individuals and cannabinoid-intolerant individuals without getting them high.
Fascinating. And talk a little bit about exactly what it does compared to the other products out there that I guess you would say are competitors.
Well, really what it does is it offers whole natural cannabinoids to the bloodstream through the hepatic system, otherwise known as first-pass metabolism. So instead of smoking and getting cannabinoids in through the blood, or an edible like a tincture that goes in through the mouth, which is oral mucosal membranes and osmosis across the semi-permeable membrane. Those are different mechanisms of action by which cannabinoids can be ingested. And the only one that is actual metabolism is the hepatic process.
Mm-hmm. Talk about what you see as around the corner when it comes to the cannabis industry as it relates to the pharmaceutical industry. What do you see coming down the pipe?
Well, just this last week, a Pedialex was scheduled 5 by the FDA for Dravet syndrome and seizures in pediatric patients. So I think that that's the beginning of the path of clinical trials for a wide variety of drugs, Idrasil included.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's so wonderful, actually, that we're looking at it with fresh eyes, and I think that, and by the way, marijuana is addictive. It can be really harmful. It's got lots of issues of its own. But unlike alcohol,
addictive
I'm sorry.
by what measure? I'm sorry.
It creates dependency. It does create dependency. My wife's a therapist and works specifically in this space. And so we've talked a lot about this. It creates dependency on those who use or more particularly abuse it. But what I was going to say is that I'm glad we're looking at it with fresh eyes because, frankly, everything can be abused. And unlike alcohol, which has been abused since God knows how long, I don't see a whole lot of clinical trials going on for its pharmaceutical or medicinal benefit, unlike marijuana.
Well,
and so I'm glad we're looking at marijuana with fresh eyes. And I for one like to see the stigma continue to be, a distance from the stigma, and continue to look at it because, I've seen everything from glaucoma to various symptoms related to cancer to seizures, all of this being positively treated through the proper use of cannabis. So I, for one, am delighted to see that this territory is being explored that way. Hey, I appreciate your time today. Thanks so much for being with us.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, Steele C. Smith. Learn about his company. Learn more about C3. That's the number 3. Don't spell out the word. C3 International Inc.com. C3 International Inc.com. Go ahead and check it out. Learn more about it. And thanks again. All right, I'm Kevin Price. We'll be back. I do want to remind you, of course, though, that this show continues 24/7 at priceofbusiness.com, where we are continuously adding new content, new audio, video, articles, and more. I like to say it's a show that never ends. It continues 24/7 at priceofbusiness.com. And so make sure you check it out. By the way, a lot of our guest ideas for our show come from listeners like you who engage with us at social media, like at Twitter at Kevin Price Live. We love to hear from you. The Price of Business is nationally syndicated, and we're going to have more for you right after this short break. Again, stay tuned for more.